Hello and welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into some really powerful ideas from the Quran that, when you put them together, take us on a fascinating journey. We'll start with the simple, everyday blessings all around us, and then see how reflecting on them leads us to think about much bigger things, like justice, responsibility, and our own inner spiritual state. It's a beautiful path from gratitude to integrity. So let's get into it.
What we're really trying to do here is understand the connections between these profound concepts. The Quran gives us this timeless wisdom on how we should relate to the gifts in our lives, and maybe even more importantly, the responsibilities that come right along with them.
So, where does this whole journey begin? Well, it starts right where we live. The Quran often grounds its deepest lessons in the things we see every day, the comforts that are so common, it's easy to forget to even see them as the divine blessings they really are. We'll start with the original Arabic from Surah An-Nahl. Even before we get to the meaning, just listen to the sound of it. There's a rhythm and a weight to these words, and they set the stage perfectly for a reflection that starts with something every single one of us can understand, that feeling of coming home.
Now, the translation highlights the first blessing, the home. But the Arabic word here is sakan, which is just so much richer than the word house. It suggests tranquility, a place of safety, a source of deep, abiding peace and security. It's the foundation, the place we build our lives from and find our calm.
And you can really see the wisdom here when you break it down. The verses go on to talk about how God provides not just permanent homes, but also tents made from animal hides for when we travel, and even useful things from wool and fur. This isn't just about basic survival. It's about thoughtful, practical care. It's about comfort. But notice that last point. These goods are for a time. It's a subtle but absolutely crucial reminder that all these material comforts are part of our journey in this world. They're tools for us to use, not the final destination. And that reminder that these gifts have a purpose is where everything pivots. The Quran does this so consistently. It moves from listing these physical gifts to exploring the moral and spiritual duties that are tied to them. You see, having blessings isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of our responsibility. This leads us to this incredibly important concept, al-mizan, or the balance. In another chapter, Surah Al-Hadid, it says that God sent messengers with clear proofs, with the scripture, and with the balance, so that people could establish justice. This connection is so powerful, it links divine guidance directly to our social responsibility. Blessings aren't just for us to enjoy, they're given so we can help create a fair and just world.
And this idea gets even deeper with a really powerful symbol mentioned in that same verse, iron. It's described as having great military might, but also benefits for the people. What a fascinating way to talk about power, about technology, about all the strength and resources we have at our fingertips.
And this just illustrates the two sides of any resource we're given, doesn't it? Iron can be used to forge tools that build amazing civilizations, or it can forge weapons that tear them down. The power itself is neutral. The verse goes on to say that it exists so God can see who supports the cause of truth. It's all a profound moral test of how we choose to use the power, the iron, that we've been given.
Okay, so from the external world of blessings and responsibilities, the Quran then guides us inward. The focus shifts to our spiritual condition, how we deal with challenges, what we think we know, and where we put our ultimate trust.
Now, the Quran gives us a very clear principle here about cause and effect. A verse in Surah Ashura tells us that the troubles we face are often the results of what our hands have earned. This calls for accountability, right? And this is so important, it doesn't just stop there. The verse immediately follows up with, "But he pardons much." It's this incredible message of responsibility, but without the despair.
And that, right there, is the core theme. We are absolutely called to look at our actions and take ownership of the results, but always within the bigger picture of a vast, overriding divine mercy. It's a message that empowers us with responsibility while at the same time comforting us with hope.
This need for balance is captured just perfectly in this beautiful prayer from the Quran. It's from the story of Prophet Noah in Surah Hud, and he says, "My Lord, I seek refuge in you from asking that of which I have no knowledge." Wow, what a perfect model for humility, both intellectually and spiritually. It's about recognizing the limits of our own understanding before we even dare to speak or act.
So what does this build for us? Well, we see these three pillars of a strong inner state start to form. First, there's humility, the guts to admit we don't know everything. Second, we seek guidance from the one true source of knowledge. And finally, there's tawakkul, or this profound reliance on God.
It's that peace that comes after we've done our part, acted responsibly, and shown gratitude. And then we place our ultimate trust in God's plan.
Now, the final theme in our journey is a very powerful, very direct warning. It deals with the single biggest obstacle to gratitude, to justice, and to humility: the blinding effect of pride and hypocrisy.
Just look at this stark contrast, which the Quran lays out right at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah. It describes people who, when they're told not to cause corruption, they reply with complete confidence, "What are you talking about? We are only reformers." They genuinely think their destructive actions are for the greater good. But the divine reality is the exact opposite. They are the true corruptors.
And this next part is the most chilling line in the whole verse. They are the corruptors, but they perceive it not. Their hypocrisy is so deep, their self-deception is so complete, that they are totally blind to their own reality. It's a reminder that corruption doesn't just thrive on evil intent, it thrives in a profound lack of self-awareness.
And then, the very next verse adds a second layer to this arrogance. When these same people are invited to believe like others have, they scoff at the believers. They ask, should we believe as the foolish have believed? They look down on faith as something beneath them. And just like before, the verse completely flips their perspective on its head. Unquestionably, it is they who are the foolish.
And there it is again, that critical phrase. They are the foolish ones, but they know it not. True foolishness, these verses are telling us, isn't about a lack of intelligence. It's an arrogance so deep, it can't even recognize itself in the mirror.
So, to bring this all together, we've gone from the simple gift of a home all the way to the complex dangers of a prideful heart. The material blessings we have, they're a test of our gratitude and responsibility. The power we hold, our iron, has to be used with justice, with balance. The key to navigating all of this is humility. And the greatest danger of all is an arrogance that makes us completely blind to who we really are.
And that really leaves us with a final question to think about. What is the iron in our world today? Is it artificial intelligence? Is it social media? Economic power? And the more important question is, are we, as individuals and as a society, using it with the justice and the balance that these verses are calling for? That's something for all of us to reflect on. Thank you for exploring these ideas with me.